Welcome to another episode of Two Guys Being Themselves.
And today we have a really special guest, Chris Radnedge. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast.
Thanks for inviting me. This is going to be fun.
No worries. We're really excited to have you on here because we know you a fair bit already from the academy, and we know that you've got an incredible story to share, and what you do at the moment as well is really cool, like really fascinating stuff.
Cool.
So to sum you up without limiting your who you are, I mean, you're a bodywork therapist. You're also a kung fu, some would say master, qigong teacher, tai chi expert, and just a really good guy.
Yeah.
So we're really, excited and honoured to have you share a bit about yourself. So what did I miss?
Is there anything we missed?
You're so humble.
Yeah. You're a good cook? Or...
No, I'm not. No, I apparently cook Kmart counter meals.
and drink liters of, what's it called?
Protein drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I have a real strong spiritual aspect to me. That's something that comes out all the time. It's been there all my life. Real strong, but you guys are the same. Yeah, it's just, I didn't realise it was something unique around people in my life. I guess, I've attracted people in my life who are quite spiritual, but people, when they usually see me, think me as a bit of a meathead.
Yeah, for
they
sure.
look at my face and my physique, and then they meet me, it's like, oh, you're actually really soft. You look like a hard guy on the outside, but I'm actually really soft. And as my kung fu teacher was the first person who said that back in, it must have been 1997 when I first met him. When I lived in Cootamundra, I used to go for walks and read this book about becoming supernatural, and it was the stories about people who just look like everyday people, but they were doing like all these cities and stuff like that, turning invisible and flying around the clothesline and stuff like that, like just crazy stuff. But manifestation things, but who knows how real it was. But what it did, it kept my mind open at a time where it could have been a bit more limited. As a teenager. So I'd go for walks and I'd just repeat these mantras.
Really?
Like affirmations, repeat the affirmations. Practice my breathing while I walked and stuff like that, and I want to meet and train with an enlightened master. I want to meet and train with an enlightened master. I want to meet and train with an enlightened master.
Wow.
And I manifested that. Like all the meditation teachers I've met, they're all what I consider some degree of enlightenment. And I have different ideas of what enlightenment is and stuff like that based on people I've met. But when I first met my main kung fu teacher, he's a Chinese medicine practitioner. He's something else. But he picked it up pretty quick. He said, as he's treating me, he starts talking to me and goes, you're strong on the outside, but you're really soft on the inside. And at the time I felt really ashamed about that. I was like, I'm a bit too soft. And I felt like I'd been seen. It's like I didn't want anyone to see that. And I thought it must have been 18 or 19 at that time, I think. And but he was the first person who saw it. Then Jace, he mentioned something about a year ago. He said, you look very masculine on the outside, but on the inside you're more like a woman. I'm going, Jace, I don't want anyone to ever see that or say that, but I feel that way inside. And now I understand it more now. It's like my whole life is about polarity and working with polarities. And martial arts itself is working with polarities. That's what the yin-yang symbol is, just symbolises, Chinese culture is Taoist thinking and stuff like that, where it come from. But that yin-yang idea is in Western philosophy too, with the idea of essence and form and that sort of stuff. They talk about it that way.
Yeah, you do see the image a fair bit.
It explains a lot. That yin-yang symbol.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it around for years, but I never really knew what it meant. I always just thought it meant like balance.
That's what it is. Yes, it's a harmonising symbol.
Yeah.
So I found that understanding the Vesica Pisikas more was a better way for me to understand the yin yang symbol. But as a deep, really practical philosophy inside that too.
Absolutely.
Wow. How people live their lives, how they think, and all sorts of stuff. And regulate emotion. It's all to do with balance, and there's never one still point. With a polarity, you're working with it. You're going from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum. So if you're dealing with like tension in the body or tension in the mind, at one end it's like totally rigid. There's no movement here. The health can't be there. That something will break. Or the other end is too flaccid, it's too slack, there's not enough strength there. So to move more towards the middle is where you'll find balance and wisdom and health and like passionate ease, moving towards your purpose and stuff like that. And the thing is, when you get to the middle, it'll be like, oh, I've got the middle. It'll last for maybe minutes, and then it'll start to deviate this way, it'll deviate that way, but it's meant to do that because it's meant to increase awareness, which is what life's about, increasing awareness and soul growth. So if it was always in the middle, it's like a reference point that doesn't move. It's like, what's going to grow here? There needs to be something thrown into the stillness of your pond of your life to make waves and ripples where, oh, fuck, this is hard, I need to deal with this. And if I was to stay still here, I wouldn't grow.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, so the line finds the middle, then it'll go this way, it'll go this way. Something will happen in your life and it'll throw you out this way, and it's like, fuck, I've gone too far here now. I need to find more that way now. Go too far this way again. So gradually you find this feeling of, oh, my life is good again. Where something will come in and it'll throw you another way. That's what life is to make us grow. Whoever decided that was the way it's meant to be.
That's right.
You don't really know who made the choice that we had to do this, but this is how it is, right?
Well, they say there's a spark of divinity within us, so in a way that we chose this and created it, and we're part of the creation.
That's cool.
So we're all gods and goddesses inside, like that divine sparks in there.
We all have that, right?
It's cool. So the meditation is one of my deepest things that I have interest in, and through Buddhist meditation mainly, and some meditation linked with transcendental meditation, but it's different to that one too. I've gone to a place where the emptiness they talk about, I can feel that place they talk about. Like to some degree, like there's people who can feel emptiness, and some who can really go deep into it. That's another story. But the emptiness is where it's like the sense of me versus them. I'm here, that person's there, that object's there. That duality just drops out, and there's just this being they talk about. Just like I'm here.
Do you think that's the middle of the?
I think so. I could be wrong. Or even there's a transcendence past even just this idea of being in the middle. It's more like the Tai Chi symbol, the yin yang symbol they call the Tai Chi symbol. So if it starts with a circle, I think you're feeling more the circle before even the fish are in there. So that's they call the Wu Chi, which is like the nothingness. It's like the void. So when I don't really like the term that in Buddhism they talk about emptiness. And it's like the feeling the emptiness is like, I don't know if it's translated not as best as it could be. But my experience of what they would call emptiness is like, it's like there's a void there, but it's full of potential. It's not like there's nothing there. It's like a void of total potential, and everything in the universe grows out of that void.
Right.
And that's where the Tai Chi symbol comes from. There's that circle of void. It's like potential for anything. And then something comes through. When something comes through, there has to be an opposite of that. So that's the yin yang symbol starts. Then the dance of that duality is what creates the change.
So that emptiness might represent growth, like opportunity for growth.
Opportunity,
Cool. I like that.
So once you get in touch with both polarities, and then you see the whole, then you can choose to create from that. That emptiness or that whole. But some people can get stuck in one side of the yin yang and just be dark. And you know, as men, we just want to be tough. And we'll just stay on the tough side. You know, we won't go into the soft side.
And so there's repercussions for that.
Because we're not growing.
And you can't connect to energies that are softer. As well.
Right.
So you can't move on us. The idea being if you're, I remember something Jay said, he said, wholeness is being able to love everything. So including all the shit stuff, not just all the easy stuff to love, but all the hard stuff too. Can you really have loving kindness and hold space for that stuff that's so difficult? That's understanding tough. Love, that part. So it means that you can go from one end of the spectrum and love this end of the spectrum all the way to this end of the spectrum. That's wholeness there.
Wow. So that's like the polarity of love. The emotion of love is the same emotion as hate. Is that what you mean?
Well, there's my understanding, like there's an ultimate, an ultimate love, and then a relative love. So the ultimate love is outside of that dualistic one. It's like that emptiness in that void is like my feeling of it is this feeling of love. It's like it's God. It feels like God, and it's like I feel my place is God. I feel the essence of that around me. And no matter how shit the world seems and how can all these injustices be there, somehow it's okay.
It's all equal. It's all
okay.
part of
and
God.
It's like, So in the heart or the spirit or whatever is that feeling that it goes, it's okay, and it knows that it needs to be that way. When you come out of it, the rational mind goes, how the fuck could that be okay?
Yeah, wow.
Because we're still in the polarity. We're still judging.
You go back into the relative love and hate.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if we're not comfortable with hate, we'll be calling things wrong. But when we're okay with hate, then we'll be out of the duality and be more of the whole.
I think so.
So that's the idea of we have to keep going back and forth and accepting light and dark, both sides, and until we're... Yeah, but how realistic is that? Like, it seems like these Eastern philosophies are very untangible to our Western minds. We understand them. Okay, be still, mindfulness. But like, how can you live it? Like, you've obviously been doing this for ages. Like, how have you implemented it?
My understanding is the practices. There's the physical practice. I remember one of my teachers, he said when he learnt a certain type of qigong, his mind started opening up epiphanies that were... Is it epiphany or epiphanies?
It's epiphany?
Epiphanies? Yeah.
Even though it should be probably epiphany, yeah.
Epiphany?
Yeah.
It's pronounced
Are you American or Australian?
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Epiphany, whatever.
He was having these epiphanies about the way Lao Tzu was talking in his book, The Tao Te Ching. And you read that book, and it's like he got those epiphanies through a certain meditation practice. So it was, and he just alludes to the practice in that book. So it's there's only parts of that alluding to the practice. A lot of it's then his realizations of the practice and then how to govern things and all sorts of stuff. But so I guess the philosophy and the practical exercises, they go together to create wisdom. Yeah, so they have like movement-based exercises and stuff like that, and from my understanding of the Eastern stuff, it's unless you're with a teacher all the time,
right,
which is that really like a deep heart-based relationship, which people are fortunate to have. You sort of got to work it out through your own practice and that sort of stuff. So no one's sort of explaining this is what I've found anyway. No one's sort of explaining this is what this is for. This is when you use it. Blah blah. Yeah. Life experience is meant to help you with that. But I've had to find different teachers to help me understand different things, and Jace has been one of the big ones to teach me how to integrate things I've learned but not really fully understood through a philosophical framework. And then when I go into that practice again, I say, oh, that makes sense, and now I can intellectualize and make a practical way of using this thing as well. I don't know if that makes any sense what we're alluding to.
Absolutely,
yeah, I get it. So it's like it's more about like just continuing practice, right? Is that what you mean?
Continuing practice, as long as the practice is yielding good results.
Yeah. I mean, you've taught me a fair bit of breath work, qigong breath work, and I couldn't imagine like me just trying to get up every morning and doing my own breath without someone teaching me. Because I feel like that would just... Like, you need to have that teacher who has that like knowledge, but also real spiritual connection to this sort of thing, who can actually give you this information. And it's helped me heaps.
Yeah, we all need a teacher who is grounded in their philosophy and their practice. And that's, I think, what we lack in the West is probably strong teachers who have a deep understanding. Like, we have a lot of teachers.
Yeah.
But how many teachers have wisdom?
It's a different thing. When you hear wisdom, you know it's wisdom. I think anyway.
Oh, for sure.
When you hear it, you go, that sounds right.
Yeah.
And it's coming from a place of integrity.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sort of background thinking behind what that person's saying.
Yeah. There's wisdom in someone's saying when they say something that's a really controversial topic, but you're not going to argue with them because you can understand where they're coming from and what that, like, how they're seeing that controversy, and not as neither wrong nor right. So
but it has depth, it has wisdom.
100%.
So it's really interesting. Like, what do you do now? You know, you've done all this qigong, tai chi. You've studied heaps of different philosophies.
How many
What's
years?
what's your main thing now, like that you still practice that actually works?
So I started martial arts when I was 12. Did taekwondo for about 7 years, and it was a good system, and it was okay for what it developed. But after meeting a kung fu teacher, I'm like, there's a lot more here than what this system teaches, the capacity of the system to teach. So I got a lot out of that first system, and my first teacher, I was really lucky to have a very genuine, like, loving teacher. He's a special guy, like incredible father, that guy. Then I met another guy. Just I remember hearing in the Tai Chi schools is like the really one famous master. He was with his teacher nearly every day for 14 years.
Wow.
And I'm going, okay, I'm in this taekwondo system, and pretty much you've gained most of the knowledge of the art in 3 years.
Wow.
What else is there? If you did with them every day for 14 years, I'm obviously missing something there. So that got me going down that track.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But so I think it's about 27 years I've been sort of doing this stuff. Jeez. Yeah. But my practice now, I'll do a Buddhist practice. Not as not as hardcore as I used to be with that, but that always brings me back into balance if I go out of balance, which can happen very easy for me because I've got an energy system that wants to go up and down and imbalance. So that helps balance me out, helps open my heart and accept real difficult things in my life. And when I look at it now, it's like my psychology goes to darkness. That always has been, and I see that as a big strength now. But the problem is that going into darkness, whether you're looking at anger and resentment and shame, especially at the bottom parts, like deep shame, it's like you can get stuck in that.
Yes.
There's a lot of wisdom inside, but you can get stuck and you go, I'm sick of this. This is my underlying makeup. I have this thing all the time. I'm sick of just feeling like this, because there's often no joy in shame until you have little insights about what it's about. So I feel a bit proud of myself. I actually unlocked this. But this meditation practice I do, it's working on divine pride, and specifically divine pride. And I found that would always balance my psychology. I could be really, really deeply depressed. I do the practice and just everything's changed, and feel completely empowered in my life. And I realise now that I was just flipping. I was going from this end to that end of the polarity. So now I have a different sort of take on that practice, and don't rely on that totally to bring myself out. I'll have more. Use Jace's techniques to understand why my mind keeps going here all the time, not have to use this practice to keep pulling me out of it all the time. So I use that for sort of emotional regulation, spiritual regulation, and one of my gifts is to transfer like spiritual initiations as well.
Cool.
So I feel like I've learnt that from past lives. I've opened up from past lives, and the practice I've done have helped to connect me to that.
Yes.
So especially the Reiki training, and then all Jace's initiations, and the Tibetan Buddhist practice, they're all about empowerments and initiations.
Yes.
Like connecting you directly to the mind stream of the Buddha.
Yeah.
That's something else. For people who want to learn to meditate and get a level, get something really cracking quickly, something that connects you to a mind stream real quick, that's you get plugged into it straight away. That's huge. So I do that. I do different qigong practices for my own health, to balance the energy in my body.
Yep.
And I'll do Jace's work for quick emotion balances and protecting the aura, getting people out of my energy field, and working with difficult thoughts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then to use my life. What are the mirrors?
Yeah.
What are the polarities? Who's pissing me off the most today? It's like that's major. That's soul work right there.
Yeah. That's true. You know what I mean? Like, so even though you've done all these amazing practices, and you've been doing it for so many years, like, you still have those really hard emotions, right?
That's huge.
Of anger, rage, like depression, right? Like, you still are working with all these normal emotions. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
and do you find it's easier to deal with now that you have all this knowledge and stuff?
It's huge.
Yeah.
The qigong training and the meditation training, like, it's like good stuff that actually works.
Yeah.
It'll go in and it'll start tinkering with how you function and what makes you do the stuff you do. Like, you're playing with switches.
Yeah.
And at a certain point you tap into the emotion, And like the emotions got so much powerful energy for you. It's there for your purpose and your growth, and it's there for you to gain insights of what happened in your life, what were disappointments. They're all got charges in them. So you're looking at disarming the charge, then using that energy for the rest of your purpose or your practice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sort of lost train of thought for a second. What were you just mentioning?
So it's talking about that you still face like everyday emotions.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
sorry, this is
Mozzie. So I found all the training would dig into my emotions and pull it up.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll go in and I'll pull up a little bit of emotion, but something would happen and it would go in and dig up all this stuff, and I'd be screwed for 3 months.
Yeah.
Trying to balance it all.
Yeah.
And my problem was I didn't have any really useful way of knowing how to deal with that emotion and what it meant, and that I was actually doing the right thing. I just didn't have the support. And now I've got, mainly through Jace's work, I have the support and I know what to do when this stuff comes up. So I'm more comfortable with rage and depression and sadness and grief and all those ones that I used to bubble up to the surface all the time. And it was like, I can't move forward because this emotion's so strong, it keeps choking me up.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Awesome, bring it on. Other people don't know how to deal with it, and then
Yeah.
I can hold space for that in myself.
That's great.
And I hold space for people in my clinic now.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know what your views are on the Buddhist model of these emotions. Like, I know that my experiences, they've said, don't experience anger. Don't have any rage. Even sadness and depression. Like, just meditate your way through it.
Yeah.
Like, what's your experience with that? And
I don't mean to offend anyone, but it's BS,
Yeah.
especially for Westerners anyway.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I was about to say I think Westerners are more emotional than Asian people. Maybe they just suppress more. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not as socially acceptable. Maybe their culture has a certain philosophy in it that I don't know.
There's a real pride thing.
There is a lot of saving face and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Which
I still don't understand.
Yeah.
it's part of their long, rich culture, I think.
Yeah.
So I was the same. One of the last retreats I was at, like I had crazy experiences there, like really crazy experiences, and things that'll affect my next life and all sorts of stuff. I really appreciate what I learned there. But when the teacher started saying don't be angry, I'm like going, wow,
Makes me more angry.
okay, this is it.
It's like saying don't be myself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
my fundamental energy is anger, and I'm happy for that to be there now.
Yeah, well, because you're not supposed to suppress that part of you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, you're given anger as a gift. Like, that's your thing to work with, right?
Yeah.
Just like we have our own emotions to work with and our own stuff to work with. And, like, what sort of a leader or a practitioner or whatever tells you, suppress this emotion, whether it's with drugs or, like medication, or whether it's a religion, that tells you, oh no, don't deal with that emotion. Like, I don't agree with that, because that's just telling you to not be who you authentically are.
Exactly.
And you can't show the world who you are, and no one will really understand you.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is that they don't accept anger?
Maybe it's a saving face thing too. If you blow up and you're explosive, there's anger is only one D away from danger. You put the D on the front of anger and you get danger.
That's
go.
cool.
Wow.
Anger's caused a lot of problems with physical violence and domestic violence, family violence, and people destroying their own lives. And anger that's not addressed is suppressed, and people can get cancers from it, and strokes and all sorts of stuff.
Well, I mean, you could argue that repressing it is going to cause those things.
Exactly, and that's what I feel too. Yeah, so I I'm thinking that's maybe why. But,
Probably because it's such a dogma, and it was like part of the religion in many countries, like Japan, for example. And they're the most violent people you can imagine.
Oh yeah,
and
so militaristic.
They probably used it as a way to protect the leaders.
Yeah. In the end, I remember my Kung Fu teacher, one of the first things he said, because I thought he must be a real Taoist sort of guy, maybe he's strongly into religion, And he said, Taoism has two parts. One's the Taoist philosophy that most people feel some connection to because it's about harmony and living a good life and stuff like that.
Right.
Then there's the religion of Taoism. And that as soon as people start seeing that, I want to stay away from you. And he said, why religion's there? He said, in the end, it's about control.
Mm.
And there's beautiful parts inside of it. There's beautiful parts.
Because it's based on good principles.
But there's an element of control there too.
Yeah. I mean, you can understand why people would want to follow that sort of a belief of that, because it sounds so peaceful and like, if you say, oh, I'm a Buddhist and stuff, people go, oh, you're really happy, you're kind, and then, but on the inside, they're probably like, no, I'm fucking angry, but I can't show anyone that,
Yeah, I think maybe part of it is the meditation practices, like everyone's got masks, and you're I think meditation, one of the ideas of it is to pull back the mask to the final part. It's like it's just void. It's just void, and this is fundamentally who I am. That part of me that's God, to unmask all that stuff. But the I guess a mask for a Buddhist is someone who's people think of Buddhism, they generally think of the happy, jolly person and about joy and stuff like that. It's really a big emphasis on joy. It's like if you're a pissed off Buddhist, maybe you're not doing it properly.
Not meditating enough.
I don't know.
That's hilarious.
But I think part of it is you're practicing generosity and doing good works and purifying yourself and that sort of stuff. And it's inside the practice you allow that anger to be expressed inside the meditation practice. And that's what transmutes it.
Right.
So there's turning something that's a lot of energy, but it's maybe too gross. Ultimately, you're turning into something more pure, like gold. It's one of the ideas.
I mean,
with this
that makes sense in like esoteric sort of way.
Exactly.
But in
you
the
have
Western
to be a good
world,
practitioner, and it's maybe not that practical to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we have to work.
Yeah.
We're not able to just be monks in temples.
Yeah.
We have to make money. So like, how can we meditate in the morning and then go to work and then a customer really pisses us off and then we're supposed to just go, namaste to you. But actually inside you're like, you fucking asshole, you piss me off. Like it doesn't work.
Exactly.
So what would you recommend to people that meditate in the morning? They're interested in philosophy, they're not really sure like where to go, they're not really set on Buddhism, they're not set on Tao, the Tao. They're kind of like, I don't know where the hell to start. What would, with all your wisdom, like where would you send people? Would it be like meditation or qigong?
That's a good question. Like first thing, a body based practice. That's really, really important. And many people find it real difficult to sit there and meditate to start. And that's in qigong. That's they know that from the start. It's the imbalances in the energies inside the body to do with the health. That when someone's trying to sit still, they start getting really pissed off. They go, "Fuck, this is boring. I can't stop my mind." It's like, as if stopping the thoughts was the whole goal. It's not. So that throws people off, and they just cannot sit still. And that's normal. You can't make a toddler sit still. In the beginning, the mind is like, it's like a toddler. It's unruly and it's not trained and stuff like that. So it's better off let the body move so the mind has a chance to do different stuff. And the idea when you're doing movement-based practice like Tai Chi or yoga or different types of dance and stuff like that. Even chess is good for meditation as well.
Chess?
Yeah, because your mind has to be on the game.
It's focused.
Yeah. So it's the mind's engaged with it, and something that's involving your body, especially one that's involving balancing the energies and opening the tissue and stuff like that. That's an awesome place to start to get into balancing your psychology. Until a certain point, you're able to go, I feel like I can sit still now. I can do some standing meditation, some stillness, some stuff that's maybe not quite as movie. And then the mind just wants to go, I just want to be still right now.
That would be cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, because we're also active, right?
Yeah.
We'll drink coffee, we're all like, go, 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 go. Let's make money. Let's succeed. And then we're missing what they have in the East, which is the stillness. So we need to find things like qigong. But what if you don't like qigong? Like, what would you?
Weight training.
Pilates.
Find something that works walking. Internal martial arts and opening the body and building energy in the body and stuff like that. So this guy started training Tai Chi with him, the ultra marathon running guy, and he just combined Tai Chi principles with running, and all of a sudden this guy's overuse injuries are gone. So he started teaching a way of incorporating Tai Chi principles into running, made this Chi running program, and a lot of people have overcome their injuries and getting more energy. It's a way of tapping into, I guess, energy-based things too.
What about people with like chronic pain and stuff?
That's the area where Qigong in particular has huge insights.
Because my dad's got chronic pain in his lower back, and it literally stops him. And if he does too much exercise and the pain gets too much, he will vomit. And like start sweating, and then he has to stop for like 3 days.
So that's tapping into the autonomic. The pain's so linked into the autonomic nervous system. So for him, the chronic pain is his major work for his life. So there's a lot of inner psychology to work with. So he can make a lot of soul growth by looking into that stuff. And the next thing is he needs to find a form of exercise, and someone with advanced skills in exercise training too, not just Joe Blow. And there are a lot of people who have enhanced skills in rehab are ones who have had a lot of chronic pain or injuries themselves, so they understand from that perspective. Because that your body's your PhD. For someone doing rehab and for someone doing inner growth, your body's a PhD. Everything you bloody need is in your body. And you're unraveling that. And I've come across people who have made these cure your back programs or heal your back programs, and they went and trained with all these different people to try to get assistance for their back injury, and no one really helped them. And then they found this helped, and then their back injury's gone pretty much, when they can manage it really, really well. They go. People are asking. Once you overcome something, you attract people who need your help. Just a matter of what the universe does. And so he goes like, I did this with this person, that healed them, that did that with that, helped them. I'll make a program. I can make money out of this. And all of a sudden, the injury is actually a major purpose in their life for finances and a sense of purpose and
giving back. And
So it needs a higher level, rehab skill, but someone with experience. Qigong, because it's slow, it's non-moving, it can be faster moving too. It's for people who can't do much. I remember seeing this saying the other day: if all you can do is crawl, and then you get you moving. So for some people, all they can do is just sit there, can't even stand up properly, but they can do some energy practice where they can start to get the energy to start to link in the central channel, connect the arms up, the aura starts to fill out, all sorts of stuff. So that's a start, and then the energy starts to build like a spark, igniting something. And then they go, okay, I can stand up and practice now. I don't have to move much. I can stand up for 2 minutes to start with. It's better than they were a week ago. And then in 3 months' time, I can stand here for 10 minutes now. That's major. So then we can start doing movement stuff. As like neck exercise, and if the camera could still see me. But to release deep tension in the neck, I've learnt Qigong. This is the next thing I can teach you as well. That's bringing the awareness right into the neck and working this way. So it's really slow, and it's 10 minutes this direction, and then 10 minutes the other direction. And your focus is here. So it's not just moving energy in the meridian system now and balancing out organ systems and stuff like that. It's actually your mind can penetrate to any millimeter inside your body. So my mind just then was inside the vertebra, inside the disc, decompressing, all the tissues getting tractioned.
So you're imagining that happening?
I'm feeling the movement come from here. So my energy and my mind is directed into here. And most people have, there's a huge blockage here, and the pelvis, and through the chest, particularly in the back. There are 3 main blockages for energy in people. And when I'm treating people, it's either neck, thoracic spine, or lower back and pelvis. That's where the main problems are with people. So Qigong's got exercises. Let's deeply unlock that energy. And but no one knows, if I do this for 10 minutes, that for 10 minutes, then the extra one with the side for 10 minutes, that's half an hour. So people don't start there. And you've got to do it with a certain energy feeling inside your body first, otherwise it's just a physical thing. So you want to make the piezoelectric charge stronger in the body, the body's more conducive to conductive energy and electrical energies. The fascia becomes more hydrated and stuff. So like, not many people know about that sort of stuff. But for someone with a neck injury like mine, that was a game changer for me.
Wow.
So, I'd be standing there for half an hour nearly every day. And in 3 days, my neck was 80% better when I thought my neck was of an 80-year-old when I was only 35.
Wow.
Yeah. And the pelvis ones, there's a certain way to practice with the feet turned in. And the pelvis rolls this way.
Yep.
So the whole spine gets involved. I'm focusing on the tailbone, making a circle.
Yep.
So I'm getting a lot of root chakra energy, solar plexus, this chakra energy going on.
Yep.
The breathing mechanics, the way the pelvis wants to naturally sit because of asymmetries, it's all being trained. I got rid of what seemed like osteoarthritis in my hip.
Whoa.
I got rid of that.
Wow.
So like
Incredible.
when you talk about like if all you can do is crawl, that kind of exercise, holy shit, that gets people running again, gets people walking again, and it makes them feel like this injury they feel like has blocked me and caused so much pain in my life, and then caused this addiction where I have to overeat because I can't control my my life and my emotions, so I just eat to suppress it. All of a sudden it can start to move forward in your life again. That's major.
That's massive.
So that's the place of Qigong. The yoga therapy, that's like really specific therapy using yoga techniques that can do a similar thing. But that kind of exercise, that's like a physiotherapy form of Qigong. And that's what people with chronic pain can work with. And that's a form of meditation as well. So you're training mind, training spirit, the whole bit to be together.
Wow. It seems so simple, and I can see how it would work, but I can think of older generation that would never even consider that unless a doctor told them. Unless they saw you and you said that to them. I wouldn't imagine any doctor would know. I'd imagine 1% of practitioners in Australia would teach that.
Literally.
Do you see that kind of thing getting bigger?
That'll get massive. It's information that especially the Chinese have been perfecting for 1 to 2,000 years.
Right.
It's like it's stayed, like they've been working on, like a person with their whole life. Like, you know how slow life goes, especially when you're in a shit place. It's like life is slow. That person's whole life, then their master's whole life, the person, that generation, each generation adding to the knowledge of how to make this better. And then all of a sudden there's a genius that comes in and their lineaging just explodes it. So it takes it away like a quantum leap. Then that goes into the next generation, and then someone else comes a quantum leap. So what they've got in terms of like healing the body, miraculous healing, linear-based healing, that's all there. It's known. But the West is kind of going more scientific model, working with longevity and injections and stuff to affect DNA and all that sort of stuff. It's like that's another way, but they've got a way before that technology was developed can cure certain illnesses.
That's what I don't understand. Like, why have we taken over in the West with our own medical system that's only a couple hundred years old? That's what I don't understand, because I look into Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, and I'm thinking, why haven't we integrated that more? Like, why is there this Western medicine that want to kind of create their own systems based on ancient medicine, but it's not doesn't necessarily use all of the psychological elements. It's not a holistic system. Like, I don't understand how that happened.
I reckon it's a money thing.
I think so. I was talking to a naturopath, and she does amazing things with people. Stuff the medical system can't help this person anymore. She goes and cures it, with herbs and a different way of looking at it and a different way of assessing and stuff like that. She is brilliant at what she does. And she goes, I traced it back. 1916 was the year that Big Pharma started.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I can't remember what it was to do with now, whether it was to do with World War One or I don't know, or before that. But she traced it back to that point.
They saw a way they could take advantage.
Like my sister Tiana, she had Hashimoto's when she was in high school, and that's a autoimmune disease. And doctors will tell you that you have to be on medication for the rest of your life, and that's how it is. And Tiana's cured that through her psychology with the work from Jason. So she's actually cured it. So she doesn't need the medication, whereas people are stuck on the medication believing that
oh no, I have an autoimmune disease for the rest of my life, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But she understands that that's got a lot of elements to it.
Yeah.
Like it's in the throat.
Yeah.
And she needs to learn how to speak up.
Yeah.
And vocalize her boundaries and be empowered in who she is. You know, she has to do all that deep work. Yeah. So it's not just, oh, I've got Hashimoto's, I've got disease of the, you know, what is this called?
Thyroid.
Thyroid.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's had Jason that said,
Yeah,
okay,
of
yeah,
course.
that's true, but there's also...
That's where the teacher comes in. You know,
Exactly,
the master of the trade comes in and says, let me show you something different. And it works. Just like you, I'm sure people will come in and be like, have you ever had someone that's a bit skeptical of what you can do?
I do. I don't seem to attract them that much.
Okay, that's good.
Now.
That's good.
And I've learnt to... Because I have a lot of knowledge and experience too from about 4 different paradigms of thinking for rehab. So when I see someone, I can treat them in this paradigm, I can treat them in that paradigm, I can treat them in that.
Yeah.
Which one do I do? So I just go with my intuition, and I have a prayer I use whenever I treat. It's like, may I be of great help to this person, may all the knowledge, information, wisdom, techniques I've ever learned come to me when I need it. And may it be very obvious what I need to do. And it's just crazy, the stuff that just comes to me.
Wow.
And it's and the flow that happens in the session.
Wow,
and if I try to do things outside of that flow, the energy breaks.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't flow anymore. And if I start trying to convince someone that I know what's wrong with them, I can just see them switch off. So my thing is, I just do my thing. I flow with them, flow with their energy, and I don't say it to them, but I'm proving in front of them that I can make a difference. And then when I first meet someone, I aim to do quick things from Bowen that shows that, oh, you got shoulder pain on this test. It's like, oh, it's really painful. Let's open up all the muscles that are causing that tendon to be at a poor leverage point and essentially overloaded. Release all those muscles, 5 minutes. Sometimes within 30 seconds, I can make the change. Test it again. And in spite of them thinking that what I'm doing is bullshit, they go, what? That's like way better. Sometimes it's like no pain.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the session, I get them to test it, and they you can see the brain trying to find the pain, they can't find it. So I just prove it to people.
Wow.
Yeah. It doesn't happen all the time. It happen like that'd be awesome.
Yeah, sure.
But, especially chronic illnesses, you can make some change in a session. But I've been there for a long time, especially if there's medication on top of it. It always resolves way slower with medication, and the more medication, the slower. Yeah. And it sort of numbs people's body, I think, in a way. Yeah. And not numbs, but I think some receptor sites are blocked because of the medications. I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. There's a lot of deeper things with just healing as well. Like, you can't just, especially if they have chronic pain, you can't just take away their their pain that they've had for 20 years. Yeah. It's like a dear friend.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
Part of my identity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's part of how my relationships function. I get looked after.
Yeah,
it's massive.
So you know, they're like, oh, my back pain, and you're like, well, how do you want to not have back pain?
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, well, yeah, I want that.
Yeah.
And then you help them, and they're like, I want my back pain back.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's exactly. We've tried to talk to Dad so many times about like different things that he could do, like small things, like, you know, you're saying crawl and stuff. Like, we know that he drinks too much coffee, and the milk that he's drinking in the coffee, it's like jamming up his throat. It's making his lungs not too great. So I said, get rid of the milk. Just start with that. And he goes, no. And I'm like, well, you can't make one simple change in your life, and how do you ever expect to, you know, like, you're just going to live the rest of your life out with this chronic pain. We've tried to recommend him to you. We were going to pay for an entire session.
I don't allow that anymore.
Oh, okay.
I understand where you're coming from.
We're coming from a good place.
I know. I just found that every time I've let someone pay for their friend, it doesn't work.
They don't value it.
It doesn't work. They don't value it, and they're not invested in it.
They don't want to change.
In the end, when I look at my own value, I'm not going to waste my time or my energy. And usually that person really triggers something strong inside me, which gives me a chance to work on that trigger. But a part of it is the trigger is just showing me boundary for people who don't want to be invested in their own stuff.
I reckon Dad would have pissed you right off. He would have come in and been like, no, nothing's changed. You're not doing anything. And you should be like, fuck off.
So that's interesting, because, like, you kind of have to want to change, right?
Yeah.
And like that makes me wonder, you know, it's usually coming from pain, right?
Yeah.
You have pain, you want to fix it, you
Yeah.
want it to go away,
Yeah.
so then you go change.
Yeah.
So because you've done so much, you know, that makes me think you've got some pain, you know, or what's your drive? Why have you continued to do this for 20, 30 years? Like what's motivating you?
Yeah, it's the pain, definitely. Like emotional pain. I want to understand that. I want to unravel my psychology. Up until I feel it occasionally still, but even 6 months ago, I still have the karma to go to jail in this life. Right. That's what it feels like. And it's like if I let this beast out at the wrong time, I could, even if I didn't hurt someone real bad, just the ferocity that would come out. People would be shocked, and they want to cage that kind of ferocity. And so that fear of being locked up and not understanding my psychology, fear of never having a really loving and deep relationship because the anger keeps getting in the way, and that's too scary to sort of disarm, and don't know how to disarm that sort of stuff. So that's guiding me, and my own injuries, feeling of like I don't know anything. I feel stupid. Nearly 100% of my life I feel stupid, and I honour that thought. I'm a dickhead, and that's okay because it teaches me to keep looking, to not be too to stay humble, and as soon as because I have a propensity to become arrogant if I start to get I can do this, I can fix this person, I can fix that. As soon as it's happened so many times in terms of as soon as I say I can confidently do this, that's exactly the time that it won't work. And every time that happens, so I'm happy to stay humble here, and I might be able to help you. And I just do my best. That's the thing. And I really want to understand. My initial thing was want to understand body work, like master body work. Now it's gone to I want to understand how to make people heal, and even more than that, why don't people heal? That's my driving thing at the moment.
I think that's a big
Why
thing.
don't people heal?
Yeah, that's incredible. Where did it all start? Like, was there something that made you really angry, that made you want to do martial art? Like, did it start with spirituality, or did it start with anger that made you want to do, like, did you start martial arts because you wanted to learn how to fight?
No, it was, I wanted to be a ninja.
Oh, yeah, well, that's sick.
Yeah,
I mean, you pretty much are a ninja, right?
Yeah, too big.
Sure.
I felt smaller, I could hide better. I had all the stuff, the ninja swords, the ninja uniforms, the white one, the camo one, and the black one.
Yeah.
You go out on missions at night, go from here to the high school undetected with my brother and stuff. That's what it was. It's all fantasy stuff.
You'd be like that big ninja warrior that's their final challenge before the end of the mission, and you're just that big massive dude.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, I'm done.
If I look at it now, I remember my dad going off about it one night as well, because by the time I was 16 I had a ninja arsenal, because my dad was a fitter and turner and welder, had a full-on workshop next door to the house.
Shurikens.
I made shurikens that could go around corners.
Oh shit!
I made my own swords.
That's epic.
A shoge, it's like a knife like that with this thing on it, and it had a rope and a hook.
Oh, cool.
A kurashai gama, I think they call it. It's like a kema, a sickle with chain. You can throw the chain and hook onto a tree and knock someone down and stuff like that. I had all the stuff when I was 16. So my brother and I would get into our ninja suits. And my cousin used to come sometimes, and we had only the white ninja suit left. So at night time, that's easy to see. Yeah. You're wearing the white ninja suit today. But like, I had like 9 shurikens in my pocket. Oh, yes. Had swords in my pockets, knives, throwing knives.
It's crazy.
If we got caught by the cops, we were screwed.
Fucking hell.
And so we'd go out in Cootamundra, and but anyway, it's like that's cool. A young brain didn't know not to do that.
Yeah.
But that's what it was, fantasy to start. And I always had an affinity to Buddhism and the things about that, and spirituality and auras and things like that. But when I first met my first Kung Fu teacher, he just ignited something inside me when I was 15. Yeah, he got me into in Buddhism and natural healing. I saw him rub out a bruise from someone. I still don't know how he did it. They say don't try to rub out a bruise. I saw him do that.
Wow.
Bruise was gone in minutes.
Really?
So I don't know how he did that. Still, but apparently he's quite a gifted healer now. I remember when I was training with him when I was 16, which I taught. He's quite psychic, that guy, and I was so interested in stuff, that sort of stuff. and I was standing against a white background, and he goes, "I'll just stand over there," and he's just looking at my aura, and he goes, "I can see this as a thought form coming up, and you keep thinking the same thing," and I was. And he goes, "Yeah, I can see the thought form. It's the same shape. It keeps coming out of your head."
Really?
And so I can see this and this and this. And now he's a real gifted healer down in Tasmania now.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Do you
so
keep
he
in
got
contact
really,
with him?
I talked to him maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much followed his path. Not intentionally, but following his path. He sort of led that for me.
Yep.
He's quite a strong karmic relationship with him.
That's cool.
So that's what it was. But then after a while, it was like how to deal with anger and emotions and fear, especially, and being a man as well. It was like, someone who, my childhood wasn't easy at all, and very soul destroying in a lot of parts too.
Yeah.
So that complete lack of honour, it can kill the warrior inside. Like everyone's got a warrior inside. That warrior can be really disabled and wounded, and after some events, the warrior can be killed. So martial arts is something, because there's warrior energy, it can revive the warrior. So for me, it was like, I want this warrior revived, not be so bloody scared of people, and better protect my family, protect my partner.
Yeah.
And that was huge to me. This feeling of I could be annihilated at any time, that's strong in me. So the warrior come up to balance out that big thing.
And express your anger.
Yeah. In a healthy way, and have the wisdom of violence. Violence has got a huge amount of wisdom inside of it. Huge. It's pathway to enlightenment. Violence is. It's just that people don't think about it like that.
Yeah, we have to have the knowledge of what you sort of mean by that before, because if someone hears that and goes, violence is a beautiful thing, who's just been raped and abused, it's that, like, look, we totally, I know what you mean by that, and I'm sure, Cody, you know what I mean by that, but
it's coming from wisdom.
Yeah, for sure.
Like as someone who's been, abused, just all the stuff we're talking about, the warriors being destroyed. So martial arts, through a pathway of, essentially martial arts is aiming to stop psychopathic behaviour. That's what it is. At the heart of it. It's like China was, the word for China translates as Middle Kingdom. Because at that time they had like quite advanced culture and products they developed, like paper and all that sort of stuff. So all the countries around them would always try to invade them to steal what they had. So that's like kind of a psychopathic trait to take what other people have, and so they're like, well, we can't just let them invade and kill our people and take our precious stuff. The stuff that's real precious needs to be protected. So the martial arts, the word wushu translates as martial arts, but as a deeper meaning to do with to stop violence. So it's not about violence; it's about stopping violence, and it's counteracting psychopathic behaviour. And inside that, you learn all about the darkness.
Wow.
Violence creates so much suffering and sadness and grief, despair, fear, hopelessness, hostility. They're all stuff that the heart has to learn how to integrate and deal with.
Yes.
There's karmic ties being, created and finished through violence. It's the human part of our psychology that's like animalistic nature versus the more spiritual part of the nature, that balancing and understanding what the hell is this. There's that duality that's being understood, and ultimately how to strengthen yourself. Martial arts, people always say martial arts makes someone who's weak overcome a stronger force. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's right. It's like someone who's really, like a really tiny Asian girl. You really think she could fend off like a 7-foot biker? No, not by hand. The real meaning of it is martial arts can make a weak person strong. That's what it's about. So that's through the physical training and also tactics and that sort of stuff, and also to make the situation more equal. It's like if someone come here right now to had, you can tell that intent. I just see it on the news or whatever. Someone who's like a terrorist, trying to go around the street killing people. You look at that person. There's an intent there. It's not about, you can't stop that person by reason. You can't stop them by just punching him in the head. You have to either break a long bone, you have to kill them, or choke them out. And you've got to disarm the weapon they have, because they're going to try to kill people with weapons.
Exactly.
And to be in denial that you need weapons to defend that sort of stuff. So if someone come here with that intent to kill, there's glasses here. I'll be using the glass. I'll be throwing it. I'll be breaking the glass and stabbing them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just be relying on my physical skills. I'd use this as a barrier.
Yeah.
Maybe use you as a human shield. Whatever.
I'm fucking dead anyway, so you might as well.
So it's about using the environment and making yourself more equalised. So that's understanding violence there.
So there's a part of physical and mental and realistic as well.
Yeah.
So like you can do all the mental qigong stuff and then the physical actual movements and techniques, but then if you're faced in reality of, okay, this guy's an absolute like lethal psychopath with an armed weapon, I need to up my game.
Yeah.
So there's also that practicality of what the martial arts too, right?
Yeah. So the stuff that my teacher taught me was, he said, you're aiming to develop martial power.
Yeah.
Which I really like the way he talked about that. It's like everyone's body's got a certain amount of power it can produce, but when you're untrained, it can't get all that power out. So maybe someone punches, they can get 30% of their power out. It looks like a big movement, but by the time you look at the end force that comes out, it's only about 30%. So it's maybe 20 kilograms of force comes out, whereas a person with a 50 kilo body is only developing 20 kilos of force. Whereas someone with a 50 kilo body, they can still produce 100 kilos of force or whatever into a single point. If you were to hit that on a certain person's body, that can stop them or kill them as well. So the martial power is about to use all your body force in a kinetic way to make power go to a single point.
Wow.
I can stop someone.
Yeah.
So the idea is one hit, I can stop that force, that incoming force. But you don't think, there's one hit, I better stop him. It's just like your body has the ability to produce that force. So that's a big part of it.
And that's how you can use qigong and tai chi to develop that martial power.
Yeah. They found that after 2 to 5 years of physical training in martial arts, that the body kind of stopped developing that much.
Really?
It would open, they could get power out, but it would kind of stop. And as soon as they combined qigong methods coming from, they say, from body dharma, the guy developed Zen Buddhism or Chan Buddhism. He meditated in the cave for 9 years and stuff like that. But they reckon he was meant to be the first one to develop 2 major forms of qigong. But they say that he learned of Taoists in the mountains too, which I think is probably more the case. So he started pouring the qigong into, or his ancestors, his lineage started pouring qigong into martial arts techniques.
Cool.
And they found they can make the body continually develop all your life. That's a big reason why meditation is a part of martial arts for power development and health development. You can just keep the body developing.
Because it's not just the physical, it's
energetic, but also making the fascial structural integrity deepen in your life. As qigong's about looking not just the spirit or the heart, but also how deep can you go into your body, how deep can you go into the organs, into the tissue, and keep transforming those tissues.
Wow.
It's a special
like
thing.
to some degree it is endless, right? Like the deeper you do this personal development work, the more you go into your sadness, you realize I can just keep going. You can just keep on going, and then at some point it gets pretty hectic and you're just like, okay, I need a break. But with the whole meditation thing that you're talking about, like it is like, it's just an energy, right? Is that right? Like it's just, it is limitless, but it's an energy that holds knowledge from past lives or like things that you could maybe draw to. Is that right?
There's a couple of different ways to think about it. Like energy can be has so many different meanings in the martial arts. When they talk about in Tai Chi, when they talk about Qi, the use of transforming the fascia through Qigong practice is not the same Qi that they talk about in meridian lines in acupuncture. It's a different thing. And then the way they talk about it, it's almost like a way of best description of Qi I've heard is information. So it's electrical, electromagnetic information. It's body kinesthetic information as well. Cool. So so you can do Qigong, and I remember pushing Qigong too hard one day and feeling all the blood in my body go to my head. Like, it's like, what the hell is this? Like, huge heat in my head, but it was the blood vessels opening up. And I thought, this doesn't feel right. And I asked my teacher, you push that too hard. Your kidneys aren't strong enough to hold the energy down. So the energy went up, so all the blood vessels opened up.
So do you think it's realistic to get to a level where you're not, like, bring it back to when we was first talking about duality and the yin yang. Is it possible to do qigong, tai chi, and all these practices and actually be, don't be not let's not say enlightened, but be not in the polarity of life, but to live as the whole, and like, and to be like a master, and to actually live a really, really good life. To be like these ancient masters and experts.
One of the biggest aim, like, it's a very practical thing too, the biggest aim is to live your best life. And that means, when you're getting, because sickness is part of life. People who deny that aren't in reality at all.
That's true.
To help overcome sickness when it comes, to be in the sickness when it comes, and to have the inner strength and resilience to go, I'm going to use this illness that maybe is going to finish me off as a purification experience right now. Because illness can make, I guess, negative events, we'll talk about maybe illness can bring up a lot of deep, difficult stuff people deal with inside. So it might dig up, feeling of stuckness, brings up anger, loss, sadness, I can't do this sort of stuff. So those emotions rising up, you can either go, I'm going to look into this stuff and purify it and essentially grow from this experience, for this illness that's forced upon me, it seems, or I can react to it and make my karma worse.
Right.
So,
cool.
Yeah, that's a way of practically living with life. So the Qigong can help you have a better life that way.
Cool.
Help ward off illness that maybe if you didn't do Qigong, that illness would come from predisposed energy imbalances you have from a genetic line or whatever. There's that. Have a different philosophy to think out, so you're not creating your own obstacles all the time. Someone close to me, I just keep seeing him throw rocks in his path, and he walks there and goes, this thing happened to me again. And then he's just moving all the rocks, and then he's picking up the rocks and throwing more into his path, and he doesn't know why it's happening. I'm going, dude, you keep throwing rocks in your own path. And it's like that's a level of wisdom that's not there yet. So those obstacles are trying to wake him up and help him have a different way and stuff like that.
I like the way you think.
That was from another book, so that I can't claim that.
Okay.
You're so humble, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, just take it, man.
But it's a good analogy. You keep throwing rocks in your own path, and that's what we do.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's just like to blame people.
But
It's
I
like, how can this be here?
I like how those rocks are not actually barriers, they're opportunities for wisdom. I see them as barriers, because until now, like, you've literally just taught me this. So, like, those rocks, I'd be like, God damn it, I know I'm creating them, but I need to get over them. I'm like, no, that's just a wisdom point, like a growth point. Makes so much sense.
Rather than throw it away and discard it, where you walk around and the rock will be back in front of you no matter which way you turn. You go, I'm going to, okay, rock, I have no choice but to look at you. And at the moment you look like a piece of shit. But as I unpack it, it's like, oh, you're actually gold.
Right.
There's, one of my teachers said, for sure it was resentment. He said resentment is, or hatred is, unrecognized love. So once you're able to integrate it and know what it's about, it's like, I can appreciate that, and I can love this person for showing me this hatred that's inside myself.
That's crazy.
Unrecognized love. You just don't see it what it actually is.
That's awesome.
It's cool. I love the way that you look at life and see obstacles as part of the, part of the gold towards, where
I don't always remember this stuff.
Yeah.
Especially difficult, like Jay says, when it's the most difficult stuff, you forget all your techniques, forget any philosophy, you just go, what the hell, who did this to me?
Yeah, exactly.
And do all the bad stuff you do. It's just like, you just forget your stuff.
I mean, you are just human at the end of the day too, right? You've got your own emotions, you've got your own life, your own things with family going on or whatever, whatever it is, there's still that element of, I'm just human, I'm just doing the best I can, and this is how you've learnt to deal with this circumstances.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I think so. I remember this guy telling me, a psychotherapist, years ago, he said,
have you've done a psychotherapist, wasn't it?
Nah.
Oh.
Me? No.
Hypnotherapist.
Hypnotherapy.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Have you studied?
he went and got
not psychotherapy.
Yeah.
Hypnotherapy I've tried.
Sorry.
I've studied it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Cool. He was saying when you're unpacking your inner stuff, it's like a cross stitch. And I'm like, where's he going with this? He goes, when you look at a cross stitch, you look at it from the way you're meant to look at it. It looks like that's beautiful. All the time that took. You turn around and look at the back and go, what a piece of shit.
Yeah,
it just
true.
looks awful. and he
makes
goes,
sense.
yeah, when you're, like right now, I'm sure you guys, I'm my best self is here
Yeah.
right now. And I'm, part of me is going, I don't remember learning this stuff, but all these things are coming together.
Yeah.
So you're seeing me in a way that's kind of my best me.
Yeah.
But inside right now, I feel like I'm stupid, I'm shit, I'm going to stuff this up. I'm a little bit shaky inside. Will this come out all right or whatever? And I also at the same time, I don't want this to come out a way that's not accurate. So, me, I'm looking.
It's really cool.
You guys are looking at the cross stitch ways when we looked at, and I'm looking at look at all this shit. I've got to work on this. I've got to work on this feeling of alienation. I've got to work on this
so
loneliness
true.
here. I've got all these
Yeah.
relationship things to deal with, and you guys don't see that. You see,
No.
but at the same time, by me knowing where these things are, that's my life pathway.
Yeah.
And my wisdom has come from working with that stuff, and then what you see is the product that I've used all those shitty experiences and
Yeah,
the
for sure.
feelings of inadequacy and unworthiness is like this has produced wisdom for me and things I can use in my life and help other people as well. So in a big way, I thank all the shittiness in my life, but at the same time, it's like that was really sucky to go through, and there's still more to go.
There's always something going on, right? But that's cool.
But yeah, we just have to accept it. Like that's the way life is.
Yeah.
That's we have.
This is the reality we live
That
in.
is
right?
that's practical. It's like it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's friends that I know that still live up in Taree, when I was from, and they're trying to really take on this hippie lifestyle of they build their cabin in this paddock and they live there and have no money and all this stuff. And I look at that and I say, well, okay, that's your choice. You've chosen to live like that, and you obviously enjoy it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But to me, that's just not the reality that we live in. Like, it feels like you're working against the flow of the universe. Like, if you work within the flow of the universe, different opportunities come up.
Yeah.
That's how.
Yeah. And
That sounds like that's what you've been doing.
a
for many
lot
years.
of spiritual bypassing as well to come to that point too.
True.
Yeah. Like escapism. I love escapism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some clients come to me and it's like, I don't want to deal with my purpose. I'm going, okay, let's work with escapism. And the escapism had the answer for what the deeper purpose is. Escapism just needed that space to be, it's okay to escape from this because life is hard.
Yeah.
And there's suffering fucking everywhere. And and it's like escapism is awesome. One of the things being on a physical plane in this world that's actually slow to manifest what we want to do, escapism's awesome. Video games, go become a hippie for a while, go to meditation retreats, go into some fantasy about being a ninja.
Go do drugs.
It's all awesome. But at a certain point, life smashes you so hard. I have to look at this a bit more deeper. Yeah, but escapism's awesome. You just don't want to dwell in it all the time, or that become part of your everyday experience because you're avoiding stuff, and whenever you avoid stuff, this is what Anya said. Whenever you avoid stuff, a void is created inside yourself, and I felt that big time in my life.
That's cool. Avoid.
Yeah, it
You
creates
can
a
get
void.
sucked
You feel
into-
there's something missing here, and there's sadness builds because sadness is showing you what feel like it's missed or lost, opportunities lost. Grief shows you what you feel is dying inside, or what has died that maybe needs reviving or not. Yeah, it's like it brings up that sort of stuff.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
What do you think about being aware all the time versus sometimes you're aware and sometimes you're escaping? Like
At the moment, I prefer that one.
yeah. It's easier, isn't it?
There's a burden for awareness. There's a big burden. Yeah, but there's also a burden for ignorance too. Yeah, and there's pain.
That's true. Well,
It's
because
both pain. Both
Yeah,
pain,
yeah,
both.
I mean, the more aware you are, the more you see the world for what it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
You can be more useful to people when you're aware. You not have to step in so
True.
many holes, but you not see the hole that you have to step into.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to have a certain level of maturity to step into that thing.
Do you see the whole for you? Do you see the whole picture that you have to step into?
More from what Jace has told me, I'm open to what he sees and says and things like that. And it's awesome having an oracle like that. He revives stuff about 5 years that I had totally die. Yeah, so he keeps seeing me reviving that, and when I do move towards it, it's like there's more energy in my life.
Yeah.
There's more happiness, there's more exhilaration, and less of a void in my life as well. And joy naturally comes up as well.
That's good.
Yeah, so I move towards those more positive feelings without trying to manifest them. Just the process of my life unfolding the way that it's meant to just makes me happier and more joy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's catching yourself when you get triggered and you're like, should I escape? Or should I learn from this and keep being aware and keep walking towards my greater purpose in the world?
I think it's part of building this resilient muscles or spiritual muscles. It's like some days I'm very aware that I'm escaping right now and I don't want to do this. And if I did, I would feel better straight away. But I'm going to wallow in my shit all day today. And it's like, that's my choice, and my consequences, I feel crap.
That's fair enough.
But I'll start again tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then, then a part of me is like, every day's precious.
Yeah.
Every day's precious, and I feel like I've just ruined that day. I'll never get that day back. My life is one day less because of this, and who knows how long my life's going to be. And then, with someone with a future vision of or belief of where my life will be, is like, whatever I achieve in this life, I'll just continue with the next one.
Right.
I've had personal experiences of past lives too, and a memory of, I think, my last life when I was a kid. So that just summed up for me that there's an enduring continuity of consciousness, and reincarnation was the thing for me.
So it's like that energy is so strong between you and your past lives that it's actually becoming, you still have memories in there. That's crazy.
Yeah, so especially when you confirm stuff like that, people still argue it's like, it's just a dream or whatever. But to me, it was like, that was useful and purposeful in my life.
Yeah. So, if there is a young person out there at the moment who is maybe a bit lost or maybe wants to try and go down a pathway that you've gone down, what would you suggest to them? Like a teenager or a young adult, 20s, something. What's your biggest suggestion?
Go out and find a teacher, for starters.
Find a good teacher.
Even whatever's in your town. There's online courses, but you really do need a physical teacher to be there, even if you're doing online stuff. Because there's some bloody amazing teachers teaching online now. But you need some kind of physical thing to be there, and being with a group. A group is like a superhighway. So just like training you is like it's just you and me.
Yeah.
And if I don't come in and give you support, it's like the momentum will drop and you'll stop practicing.
Yeah.
And that's normal. That's normal. But as soon as you go in a group, then it's a social proof all the time, and people developing, and it's like, we're in a group with this together. Even if you don't feel connected to the group, you go and do it at this time with this group of people as part of your identity. Being part of a social group is huge for humans and part of the identity structure. Some people just love exercise because I get to be with other people. And people love martial arts too. I know there's a guy I know. He's very talented with martial arts, but he doesn't push himself that hard. But he just loves being in an elite group of martial arts people, and that keeps him going. And it helps him with his wisdom in his life. And being in that group's important. So that'll be one. Do a movement practice. Pilates, yoga, and trial different things, kettlebell training, get good instruction. If you have injuries, go see people. It's people who are trained in how to heal injuries. Don't do what I do and try to fix it myself with no real training. And I had a shoulder injury for 7 years that if I was treating myself, could have resolved in, I don't know, a few weeks. 3 months at the most. Had it for 7 years, and it's like, I'm good at treating shoulders now because of that experience. But go get treatment early. Injuries that are left always have remnants in the body that sometimes can stay the rest of your life too. Joints, fibros, and all sorts of stuff. And pray. Pray that you find good people. It's huge.
Manifest that.
So some charismatic people are actually pedophiles. Some charismatic people are psychopathic, especially sociopathic, especially when it comes to spiritual realms. People who really have a megalomaniac tendency become cult leaders and spiritual narcissists, and someone who's too trusting or don't know themselves well will give a lot of power to a person. That can be bad, very bad. Yeah, so there's that potential problem with spiritual things that requires wisdom and praying that you find a good teacher.
Yeah,
that's good advice.
A genuine teacher. Yeah.
Is there any preference on starting with, I don't know, Taekwondo, Qigong, Tai Chi?
If you're older, over 40, definitely over 50, Qigong and Tai Chi are awesome places to start.
Yeah.
They'd be awesome place to start before you even went into yoga, if you want to do yoga at some point too.
Yeah.
Start there first. A younger person, get into wushu, karate, taekwondo, capoeira, penjak salat, whatever. There's something physical, real physical stuff. So you need to build your body when you're young, get the body flexible, because you're about to maintain that for your life.
Yeah.
It's really hard to develop flexibility, especially over 30, definitely over 40. It can be done, but it's much harder. Do physical stuff, because everything in the physical health and psychology needs to be tied back into the physical body. So you get the physical body foundation built for strength, flexibility, a sense of being in your body, grounded and stuff like that. So that.
Brilliant.
Cool.
And if Chris Radnedge is going to be doing any online programming or in Canberra, will that be a thing at some stage?
It will be, yeah. I've already got my first program. I don't know how much filmed, maybe 70% of it filmed.
Yeah, wow, cool.
It's for how to make bulletproof legs. It'll improve grounding for people doing martial arts, wrestling.
Wow.
How to kick harder without directly training kicking, but how to kick harder. How to make your punches more powerful. Really open and close your spine. Getting into Qigong, energy work, how to use sacred geometry to open up old injuries that aren't healing further, how to potentially ignite that healing further. Definitely get the wisdom about why that injury's there. So how to use an injury as a big part of your purpose in your life for your soul growth. And again, a way of, if all you can do is crawl.
Wow. Yeah. That's brilliant. And where can people go to find that resource when it's ready?
Yeah, when it's ready. I guess the best part is go to my website. That's for my clinic. So I'm a bowen therapist and soft tissue therapist.
Yeah, we'll plug your website.
Yeah, my website, Restore Muscle Therapy.
Yeah, Restore Muscle
Therapy.
It's
got my number on there. It's got my email. The email's correct now. It was wrong for like 4 months.
Oh shit!
Yeah. But anyway, I don't think I missed many.
That's
emails.
all right. I handed out heaps of business cards. I had the wrong email on it as well.
Yeah.
And then Tiana looked at it and's gone, I don't think that's right.
Yeah. But at this stage, I'm not doing only you teaching Qigong 101.
Yeah.
But more people are interested. But when I know as soon as I start it'll be busy once the doors open.
Oh yeah, man, it's going to be so busy.
It has to be that way. The knowledge I've got, the more I live my life and hear Jason, he keeps saying people need to hear what you know.
Yeah,
you know so much.
A lot of people know this. It's like,
no, they don't.
Yeah, and then I'm realizing that it's like people don't think like this.
No one thinks
my life
like this.
Experience is unique, apparently.
Yeah, so, it is, and you're such a humble guy.
Yeah,
I
think that's what makes it so nice to talk to you about, because you're just such a humble dude.
Oh, thanks.
Like, and you're not there. You're not sitting here being like, "I'm the best. I know everything." You're just like, I kind of know the stuff. Yeah.
But you're a true practitioner, because that's what this represents. This teachings is humility. And and it needs to be shared, because people need leaders. And you've been doing it longer than most people, and I think it's your duty.
There is.
You got to get your fear out of the way. My father used to say, "Don't let fear hold you back." And it's true. Sometimes we can just use fear as an excuse.
Oh, for sure.
Big time.
It is good to honor, acknowledge, accept fear, but sometimes you just gotta let it. Not really listen to it.
Really
actually, just
it.
And do what's right. And I think lots of people get benefit from the episode, and a lot of people need this kind of help as well. So thank you so much for coming on.
This has been awesome chat.
You're our first guest as well.
Awesome. Well honoured.
Man, what a great episode this has been.
Yeah,
this has been so awesome. I think heaps of people are going to love it as well.
The last thing, martial arts is an awesome pathway for people to go.
Yeah.
Male or female. if you have anger issues, martial arts is the way to go.
Yeah.
If you've had abuse in your life, a lot of women have been sexually abused and all sorts of stuff, whether it's childhood or later in life. That anger there is to protect you from that happening again. And martial arts helps you to make that anger safe, and helps you to integrate and be okay with that anger.
Yeah.
Martial arts is a huge pathway. It always will be, and it has been for centuries.
Yeah.
It's a pathway of self-development. That's what it is.
It's incredible.
Love it.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks
No worries.
so much.
Thank you. See you guys.
Some of these.